Get those fucking pants off!
Welcome back to the No Pants podcast. I'm Ben.
I'm Sam.
I'm Gunner.
I'm Nolan.
And today we're going to be talking about smoking.
Smoking.
Right. So, smoking's bad.
Is it?
Sure.
Is it?
I think so.
Okay.
Is it?
Right. I've been smoking since I was 6. And I feel great, but I don't think that everybody has the same positives that I get from smoking. So we're going to talk about the more common negatives.
Should I, when I turn 18, should I buy myself some... you geese. Wonder if that'll come in. Anyways, so I'm turning 18 soon. Should I or should I not start smoking?
Let's discuss. Alright, so the Surgeon General warning was released at some point to alert
64, I believe.
to alert the general public of the dangers that smoking might cause.
Yeah, it sure was.
However, smoking companies, the big boys, did their best to basically run a campaign against it, saying, cigarettes aren't really bad for you. But they are.
Yeah. Are they?
Yeah.
Let's talk about lung cancer.
What's the effects of smoking?
I like raised blood pressure. Dying, actually. I think that's the most prominent one.
You gonna fact check that one?
I mean, see, everyone who smokes dies.
As long as you say it confidently, you'll know.
Okay.
True. Everyone who smokes dies.
100% of smokers die. You heard about that?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Smoking is easily established as a bad campaign. Not campaign. Bad dinger. A real bad dinger.
Practice. If you smoke, you're probably not.
So,
It's frowned upon.
Vaping!
Vaping. Now that's cool.
See, now...
Oh, I love it.
See, now there's a big old difference between smoking and vaping. With smoking, you're lighting up, you're with vaping, you're only
And it tastes like fucking mangoes.
and it tastes like mangoes.
See, but I think that the key difference here is everyone thinks that vaping is like largely healthier than smoking, and it is. Some things say like some fucking websites randomly that I found.
They advertise a lot of vape products
yeah.
as quit smoking, it's better.
However, but the way a lot of these are marketed, like on store shelves, appeal to the younger generation.
Right, so should little Jimmy start vaping even though he hasn't been smoking?
I think
He should start smoking before he starts vaping.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I think that's a good idea.
I have a nice little anecdote to tell about
Take it, don't die.
Are you
advertising.
sick or something?
no.
These are terrible.
Anyways, so in my advisory class, Mr. My advisory teacher
Johnson.
had us watch a video on vaping, and this was very, very shortly after kids were banned from vaping in the bathrooms.
Was this before or after they took the doors away?
This was no, this was right before. This was just right before, but they took the doors off for a different reason.
Yeah.
They took the doors off because everyone was having.
Anyways, so he had us watch a video, and I'm pretty sure that he was making us watch this video because it was like, oh, we need to tell kids the truth about vaping. That obviously it's a bad thing, it's a terrible thing that you should do, and they'll get totally warded away from smoking and vaping. And he had us watch the video, and it was literally the entire thing was like, maybe it's not that bad. I mean, you could do it, and it's way better than smoking. Like there's not even that many bad things about it. And even everybody in the classroom were like questioning it, being like, Mr. Grosh,
Johnson,
Mr. Johnson, why are you showing us this video? Shouldn't this make us not want to vape? I kind of just want to vape more. And he was like,
Well,
Uh,
is it just some BuzzFeed video or something?
No, it wasn't a BuzzFeed video. It was like an actual like documentary, and he was like, oh, you know, like the school's making me watch this. I doubt that you guys had to watch it.
No, we didn't.
But he was like, yeah, the school's making us watch this, and so he showed it to us.
Mr. Johnson is in with Jewel.
Yeah, and it was kind of ridiculous, and I feel like it probably skewed my perception of vaping, because after that I was sort of like, well, I guess it's not really that bad.
I mean, it's way better than smoking, but you shouldn't start it in the first place. So I think the best thing to happen is smokers change to vaping to help rid themselves of the nicotine addiction. And I think people in general probably shouldn't start vaping in the first place.
I feel like, you know, you could use the vaping to quit smoking, but I think you're going to end up keeping that nicotine addiction. But I guess vaping, it's easier to, because you can get lower nicotine counts, right? So you could, like, wean yourself off a bit.
Yeah, also, there's way less chemicals in some nicotine vapes. The one that comes to mind is Juul. They're one of the companies that's more open about the ingredients in their pods, yeah. And I think that's really important, being honest with the consumer. But a lot of there's like a lot of e-juice out there, and tons of it is just you have no idea what's in it.
I think when it comes to the whole using vaping to quit smoking argument, the thing that comes to my mind first of all is like patches, right? And I don't know what the statistics might be of like the success rate of using patches, because that's the same system. You wean yourself off. You start with a certain amount that's close to what you're getting from a pack of cigarettes, and you slowly go down through it, like a however many week program. I know that's what a lot of people do, but I don't know if the vaping would really be a good way to do it, because it's so accessible and it's so heavily marketed, and it's not marketed only as a quitting tool. It's also cool being.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't really get it, because, you know, vaping, people say that vaping is healthier than just regular smoking, but it's still, you know, unhealthy in the first place. But it makes you then consider, like, what's the trade-off of a nicotine high versus the downsides of smoking, you know, well, the downsides of vaping. Because, I mean, who's to say at that point that people could say that eating a cheeseburger is extremely unhealthy and causes cancer? How does that relate to something like vaping?
I think the main thing is knowing what's in, like what you're taking in. Like with Juul, they're way more honest about what's in it. To be fair, it's not a bunch of healthy stuff. Nicotine in general is kind of bad for you, and it's not very good. It's like it can cause birth defects, things like that. I wrote a bunch of stuff down, but Gunner's phone is on my stuff. But I think there's a bit of a benefit to switching from smoking to vaping, and that's mainly just health. I'm pretty sure. Not
If you're going to
100%.
continue smoking anyway.
If you're going to
better.
continue a nicotine addiction, I think smoking is probably the healthiest way to go about it.
Vaping.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
vaping's the healthier of the two. That's what he was trying to say.
I think that vaping's a good solution too if you got, you know, you're smoking a lot and you gotta quit smoking. But I think they've done a really good job of advertising how bad cigarettes are, and I think kids these days, like, very few kids smoke,
Right.
but a lot vape.
A lot of people think that vaping is healthy, that it's water vapor, and that's just simply not true.
So I think the vapes, they're good for, you know, helping somebody who's a long time smoker quit. Sure. But I also feel like they're getting in the youth's hands a lot, probably too much.
They're marketing to their next generation of consumers, really.
Yeah.
I've got a question. So that new law that passed recently that's raising smoking ages
21.
to 21, does that translate to vaping as well?
I
or
think
no?
it's all tobacco products.
I
and
would
think,
assume.
Yeah. I think things like e-cigarettes technically fall under, like, the tobacco category.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Broader terms, nicotine category, I suppose.
But then, what if I want to take a nice long drag after work, and I love the flavor of a cool green 100?
A
Spelled
cool
with a K.
green.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Cool green. You know, so
Well, they have different flavors for vaping, like menthol. So you don't have to lose your menthol. You just lose some of the unhealthy things. Yeah.
Well, are they still trying to ban the menthol cigarettes? Wasn't that like a thing for a while?
I've heard that. Yeah, I don't know how far they would go. I could see that passing.
Well, I don't know why mango's the flavor that always gets brought up. They're like, we got to get the mango off the street.
Because it's the most popular, I would think. I mean,
it's
that's
just funny to say. Like,
I think
what
it's
do
just
you say?
funny to say.
the
Pina
mang.
colada? Nah. Mango. It's like Vango, but mango.
Yeah, but like the main thing that I think about when we start talking about the risks of something like vaping, but then I also think about the culture behind it, the people who enjoy that nicotine high. How would that relate to something like marijuana? Like there's definitely, you know, health effects in the negative for consuming smoke through a blunt, but I mean, people are arguing that, oh, you know, weed is so great. So I don't know.
The
It's
thing about weed is that there are health benefits
And
to
there's
weed, and it is used in medicine.
so many
Vaping is not.
chemicals in like cigarettes and vape. Like, there's like, I mean, you had a list.
It's
didn't
full
you?
of carcinogens.
Oh
too.
yeah, they have heavy metals like cadmium, nickel, tin,
Metallic.
lead. And those are all carcinogens, you know, that you inhale. It's not good.
Yeah, I've seen so many ads on YouTube lately of what is it? It's that campaign to prevent smoking. Truth, and it's actually I mean it's pretty much at this point switched to vaping, and they have a commercial on like the metals in vaping, and it's just like a guy wearing like a scary Halloween mask with a guitar, and he's like vaping is bad. He's just like
I don't know.
I like to relate to
They're trying to scare the shit out of the kids. Or
it scares me. I throw my phone across the room
have
every time I see
Hey,
it.
no
kindergarten,
idea.
do you want
Who
this
this
mango vape? Well, guess what's in it?
Lead?
10!
Okay, he said 10.
Nickel!
I have no idea who those commercials are for.
Not.
Cool kids. Have you seen the commercials with the puppets? They're puppets. They use fucking puppets. They're like it's like you know, there's always there's one that I've seen so many times of there's like these two people, they're two puppets sitting at a doorway, and the girl says in her mind, he's kind of cute, I want to kiss him, and then he's like, bleh, he pukes all over her,
Oh,
and then
I've
it's like,
seen
and then it's like, nicotine makes you puke. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah, I know exactly which one you're talking about. It's going over like, there's 70,000 ingredients into vape. It was just talking about, I don't know.
70,000.
I don't know. I just pull a number out of
those,
my
those
mean,
ads were
There's
actually
8 ingredients.
There's like at least 16 ingredients.
Do you know how many ingredients there are in carrot? 1.
Carrot, orange.
Orange and crunch.
Rabbit, yummy.
Okay, I feel like we're starting to get a little off topic here.
Well, that's the point.
Right, so let's get even more off topic. While we're on the subject of smoke, I want to talk about trees
Forest
being
fires.
Right, exactly. That's what I.
Oh,
exactly.
dude, we should kiss.
20. I think I have no idea, but I'm pretty sure
couple
that
of trees
about
burned down every
20%
now
of
and
the Amazon rainforest has
20
been cut
trees.
down.
That's
And it's for agricultural purposes, right?
Oh, don't even get me started on that.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
It's a rainforest, right? The Amazon, it's a rainforest.
I think
Yeah,
so.
it's rainforest.
Let me check the
How
weather.
do they deliver packages so fast?
That's a good question.
I mean, I hear that they're mostly tribal yet, and then but they have drones
Jeff Bezos
delivering. Yeah.
What'd you just say?
Jeff Bezos girthy.
You know how much of a pain in the ass editing is?
All right.
You said earlier.
Yeah.
I'll be there this time.
Okay. Anyways, so
have to teach me.
the Amazons are getting cut down. Trees are going away. Agriculture.
But here's the issue, right? So they're opening up this land. They're taking out all these trees, and it's land that is not going to be sustainable for agriculture in the long run. It might be for a little while, but when the rainforest is taken away, it's not going to be able to come back, especially if the entire thing is taken away.
Oh yeah. The agriculture they're putting there as well is super unsustainable. They're just using very, very poor farming practices, and a bunch of it's going to grazing for cattle. And again, none of that's really sustainable in the long run. I think it's more important to have our.
I'm
forests.
guessing that tilling like this, farming. Speaking of which, we have farms all over us right now.
Right.
Not all over us, all around us.
All on top
I'm
of
guessing
me.
that you probably can't grow trees on this, right?
No way. There's nothing in this soil.
It's
Has no
empty.
fertility.
Fertilizer is just steroids. There's nothing fertile about this ground anymore.
We have to pump nitrates in it because it won't grow anything.
It's to the point that fertilizers are pretty mandatory for growing crops. They act like a steroid because plants can't grow themselves. That's why we need to get them GMOs and whatnot. But there's a lot of easy fixes.
Yeah, let's hear about some of that.
You want to hear some easy fixes?
What's the term?
Conservation agriculture.
Conservation
agriculture. So
Boy, nothing gets
conservation.
me going.
Yeah. So conservation agriculture is the idea of working with the ground while still making a profit from it. There's a few key rules. Don't quote me. I might mess them up a little bit. One of the most important ones is you stop tilling. You don't want to tear up the ground.
Yeah.
So going no-till. Okay. So going no-till is extremely important. Cover crops, so you keep the soil covered, so it doesn't erode. Crop rotations as well, to keep everything diverse and to keep parasites and stuff.
Don't they already kind of do that with the corn and beans?
It's not diverse enough.
It certainly is not.
Parasites can kind of grow tolerance to the very
So you're
simple.
saying
They can
should
lay
do-
eggs that'll last a rotation.
So they should
Oh,
do
yeah.
corn, beans, and lettuce.
Not necessarily lettuce,
Right, and
but it should be
yeah.
diverse and random. Two crops shouldn't be, or crop shouldn't be used twice in a row.
So is soy and corn pretty similar to each other?
Absolutely not. Corn loves nitrogen, and it just.
It's
And,
like a sixth grader with a jewel.
and, and soybeans typically are seen as like repairing the soil and putting nitrogen back in it. So that's why they do it, to restore nitrogen and then use it.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just thinking about
What's up,
the
Eagle Nuts?
Irish.
Oh yeah.
And the
they
potato.
f***ed up with the potatoes.
Oh, that was actually a plague that I don't remember what it was called, but it was a plague that infected shit tons of potatoes, and that's why none of their potatoes.
But I
grew.
bet if they did crop rotation, that plague wouldn't have came.
No, not necessarily.
Oh no, all me heckin' potatoes are gone.
Hoity
They're all
toity
getting
toy.
plagued away.
This is Spudonic.
Was it spread by rats and fleas?
Yeah, it was. It totally was. See, like the rats and fleas would like bite
Eat the potatoes.
They would bite the potato, and the potato would be like and cough on other potatoes.
Yeah, I heard
Man,
that
that's a good
one.
one.
I heard that 1/3 of all potatoes in Europe died from the potato plague,
Yeah.
the Spudonic plague. God, I
I
love
think we got
that.
our episode title.
The Spudonic plague. The Spudonic.
All right.
Jewels and the Spudonic plague.
Yeah.
So I think that sort of puts a nice little bow on this episode.
Just let's put one more thing on it.
Okay. And then
Current farmers are not very intelligent for denying the science that proves that there's a better way to grow sustainable crops. I can't remember. Crop insurance is probably the worst thing that ever happened to agriculture because it just
What was that word called again? The one where they get money back if their crops fail.
crop insurance. Yeah. It's
Oh, I
probably the worst
thought
thing
that
happened
there
to
was like
agriculture.
a different word, like dividends or something like that you
You mean
get
like
for
subsidies.
subsidies. That's
Yeah,
what I was
not-
thinking of.
That's like getting extra payment for growing specific crops, which is corn and soy.
Okay, that sounds right.
Well, this concludes our review of the
So this
2012
concludes-
Easy Bake Oven.
This
It
concludes
cooks
our
well.
review of
It doesn't
the
cook too well,
2011 Mazda RX. Go places, eat corn.
Kia Soul.
Shazam.
I have some closing statements.
Do you?
Okay.
Let's hear 'em, and put 'em in
make sure
10
to
minutes.
like and subscribe if you're on YouTube.
Oh,
Make sure
absolutely.
to check us out on YouTube if you're
Check
not
us
on
out
YouTube.
if you're listening to us on YouTube. That's great. We're also on Google Play Music. We'll be on Spotify and Stitcher and iTunes. Hopefully by the end of this week.
No guarantees.
Make sure
This
to
week is.
Tune in.
tell your friends.
Absolutely.
Remember, kiss every man named Sam right on the lips.
Yeah. This has been Sam.
This has been.
This is Gunner.
This is Nolan.
And
Sorry,
and-
that might have been a little quiet. Nolan!
Thanks for joining us
Thanks.
for episode 2. Roadside.
In the middle of nowhere.
Roadside Edition, episode 2 of the No Pants podcast. X need the in there because there's another guy that's got.
That's true. Yeah, keep the nut.
He's a-
We're not the No Pants Pod.
We are
No
No
Pants
Pants
Podcast.
podcast.
We are better than him. Saying that now.
We already have more views than his 40 videos in our one.
Does he have 40 videos?
Oh yeah.
Like the highest one has like 16 views.
Goodbye.
Way better.
Goodbye.
Should we put our pants back on?
When I was born back in 1901, we were prescribed cigarettes as like a means to treat asthma.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Both Ma and Pa
Most
pack a day.
Ma and Pa packed cigarettes for me for my asthma.
For my asthma.
That's all right.
Do you think Piggy smoked cigarettes? Oh shit! There's a car coming. We gotta move this powwow, boys.
All right. Let's just, okay.
Look at our ass marks.
Okay. So we're just gonna stand here for a little bit.
So,
Smoking's bad.
smoking is
Smoking's
bad.
bad.
Ben,
might be.
Ben, you know a little bit.
In
about
1964, the Surgeon General warning.
We're about to get to talking.
Oh,
to.
are we? Hey, how's it going?
Sitting out on the road eating seeds.
Getting a good seat or two.
We're just hanging out.
Right back. See you Monday, man.
Okay.
Well,
We have more visitors.
okay, this guy. Okay, I was worried that this guy like saw that we were on his farm and was like coming down. But
No, it's fine. We're on a road. It's fine.
yeah, those people just live there.
Okay.